Hello. Today we are going to do scatterplot correlation. So the first part of the notes down here, we're just going to talk about the correlation of a scatterplot example. All right, so essential understanding. A scatterplot, is a graph that relates two different sets of data by displaying them as ordered pairs. Usually the data is positive, so we are graphing in the first quadrant. Okay, so for this example up here, it's talking about albums downloaded versus CDs sold. So we're saying, okay, this would be one ordered pair. That's the next ordered pair. I guess they're saying, okay, that's the X variable. That's the Y variable. Okay, so we have these three different scatter plots here. Let's talk about a correlation. If I were to draw a line, best I could through those dots, we want to look, okay, what kind of slope would that line have? Hopefully we're saying, okay, if we draw a little guy on here, he's walking uphill, that's a positive correlation. All right, if I drew a line through this one, and I drew a little guy walking, he's walking downhill, so that's a negative correlation. All right, in this third example, I can't draw a line through there really because there's no pattern. They're just random. So when this happens, this is called no correlation. There's not really a pattern that we can, say easily. Okay, so now we have example down below. So the example at the right is a scatter plot showing the relationship between weight and height. Each dot represents a person's weight and height. So since we're saying as their weight increases, their height increases generally. That's why, if we drew a line through here, it's for the most part going up. So, okay, that's a positive correlation. All right, easy enough so far. Let's turn to the next page. We have an example of a positive correlation. Let's think of an example. See if you can think of one in your head. All right, I've got one here. How about as your age increases, what is your height? Age, height. This scatter plot would probably only stop though around age 20, because after age 20, most people are not still growing taller. How about, let's see, number of hours studied versus your Algebra 1 test score. Oh, math. All right, so if you study more, then you hopefully would do better on the test. All right, then next one here, we have a negative correlation scatter plot. We have to think of an example for this one. How about let's say, as the number of hours of video games played increase, your grades decrease. Or maybe, the amount of screen time you use versus the amount of sleep you get. That'd be another probably negative correlation. All right, and then the bottom one, no correlation. This is when there's no pattern. The two variables are not really related at all. So we could say, okay, maybe like the number of pets you have versus the inches of snow at winter. The number of pets you have does not really have effect or relate to the amount of snow. All right, this page here, determine which correlation they have. Okay, so there's 6 problems here. Go ahead and fill out these 6. All right, you should have negative, positive, no correlation, and then again, positive, negative, and no correlation. Okay. So what must you include when you actually make a scatter plot? We just did correlation. Now let's actually make the points and the graph. All right, so you're gonna have to label your axes. Be sure to include units, hours, minutes, days, whatever we're talking about. We have to make a title for your graph, and we need to evenly space your X and Y axes. Okay, so we have this example on the back page. Your altitude of the plane and then the outside temperature. So telling you, okay, the altitude, this is in meters. Your temperatures is in degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so let's go ahead and label our graph and title first. So let's treat the above data as ordered pairs. So what they're saying is that this first group in here would be 0, 59.0. This group of numbers would be 500, 59.2. These are my X variables. These are my Y. Okay, so let's title this temperature. That you could be a little more creative if you would like. All right. So on the bottom, we need to label this altitude. That was my X variable, altitude in meters. And then the side here, this is your temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. All right, now we have to evenly space both axes. So I need to go on the X axes. If you scroll up here, my X range from 0 to 5,000. So I should count the lines that I have on this graph. So what? There's 20 lines. Okay, so I need to get to 5,000. So the trick here is to do 5,000 divided by 20. See how I can evenly space my numbers. Okay, so each one is 250. So I'm just going to write every other though. So it'd be 0, 250, 500, 750, 1,000, like that. That way you're not so messy and cramped. All right, and then the temperature, I need to get to, let's see, what the highest is, like 61. Okay. So again, I have 20 lines going up. I'm probably just going to go by 5. That seems practical. If I go by 2s, that's kind of awkward. So we'll go by 5. So 5, 10. Okay. And you could keep labeling it. I know I'm not going to go much higher. I'll just stop there for now. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to plot all of my data points. So you could see up when I wrote them as points up above here. Okay. So the first one is 0, 59. So 0, 59. Then we have 500, 59.2. 1000, 61. 1500 and 55.5. 2041. 2500 and 25.8. Sorry, 29.8. Let me fix that. 29.8. Okay, there we go. 3029.9. 3518.1. 4026.2. 4512.4. 5000 and 0.6. Okay. You notice I think I'm off on the bottom by one line. Please forgive me. Okay, so if we look at this in general, what kind of correlation is it? As altitude is increasing, the temperature is decreasing. Okay, so that would be a negative correlation. All right, and that's it. So you're going to be making one scatter plot today and then labeling some of the positive negative correlation examples.